Hey fam, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you are having a wonderful weekend. This is Sean Hill of SeanHill.com, and you know what to do. Make sure that as you jump on, if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure you hit those hearts, those thumbs ups, those likes, all that good stuff. Jump in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Also, make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, you hit that thumbs up button. You hit subscribe and make sure you hit the bell. I know it's going to be a big day for you, so I'm not going to be on here long. Just wanted to share with you this story that I saw out of the Hill, and it was just full of irony. So I just had to share with you. I got my good friend Mark on here with me, and just want to just because he knows more about this new group that's out here that's kind of challenging that old CBC. You know how we feel about the Congressional Black Cowards, and so he has a little more information on this. But I'm just going to share just a couple of nuggets from the article. But before I do that, let me not be remiss and come on in, Mark. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about you.
Hey, thank you, Sean. Mark Peterson. I am one of the lead organizers for HOS Columbus, Ohio. And I'm excited to talk about this topic today and with you and share my knowledge of this new little faction of the Democratic Party that is causing some stir today.
All right, good deal. Well, let me just, like I said, let me just get a little few of the quotes, and I'll get your kick it to you and get your comments after each one. So it says the opening line is the CBC lawmakers rip Justice Democrats for targeting black lawmakers for primaries. Here's one of the quotes that I found. Just the irony is just dripping here, because you know me, I've been on the Congressional Black Caucus for a minute, and so the irony is that Mr. Gregory Meeks says it just seems strange that these social democrats seem to be targeting members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Individuals have stood and fought to make sure that African Americans are included in part of this process. Representative Gregory Meeks, a senior CBC member, told The Hill. Now, fam, you know, if you have, let me just go from the point of you haven't seen any of my videos about anything that I've said about the CBC. Let me just start from that baseline. If I were to start from there and just told you, just recently, the CBC just updated their Twitter handle, because before then, when we compared the Hispanic caucus, which said they in their Twitter, deal where they told about their caucus, they said, hey, we are for Hispanic deals and we're for Hispanic programs. That's what we're about. The Congressional Black Cowards, they're said we are the conscious since 1971. We are the conscious of the Congress. Now, just from that standpoint, that just flies in the face of this we've always been here and we fought to make Americans included in part of the process. Yeah, that you may have made us part of the process, but you didn't have specific programs for us. So, Mark, when you hear some line like that, what do you think about that line?
From Gregory to, first of all, for any congressional member to feel that they should not be primary is a problem for me. Because if you're doing the constituents, then it's not going to matter if you have one challenger, two challengers.
Oh, Mark, hey, Mark, you're cutting in and out, buddy. Hey, you're cutting in and out, buddy.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, you should be able to hear me now.
Oh yeah. Oh, you sound good now. Come on in with it, brother. You sound good.
Okay. So what I was saying was, for Gregory to assume that he has some type of past and should not be primary is a complete problem for me. Because if you are doing the work of your constituents, it's not going to matter if you have one challenger, two challengers, or three challengers. The people in your district are going to know that you have been fighting for them. And so what it tells me is that these gatekeepers are scared that they're about to be exposed for the frauds that they truly are, and they're going to lose their seat to people who are really going to be doing the work for the constituents. And that seems to be the biggest issue that these lawmakers are having with the Justice Democrats.
Exactly. All right, let's keep moving on. It says, in the interview in the Capitol, Clay said it was, and this is Congressman Clay, Bill Clay. Yes, it's Bill Clay. Okay. Said it was absolutely clear that the Justice Democrats are targeting lawmakers of color like himself. He and his father, Bill Clay, have represented the district for the past 50 years, and Lacy Clay called the group's actions insulting. He was insulted. I'm kind of insulted by how he's been representing our people for 50 years, but that's a different, he and his father been for 50 years, but that's a different subject, to the intelligence of Missouri voters. Now, let me just say this. The irony, like I said, the irony of these people, the high-mindedness of these people is just almost sickening, because part of his, and we've talked about this in another video, part of his district is St. Louis, Missouri. Now, you don't hear about St. Louis as much as you hear about Baltimore, as much as you hear about Chicago, as much as you hear about these other places. But St. Louis is just as deadly, if not more deadlier, to African Americans than all the other places that you hear about. You just don't hear about them. Mark, come on, man. Come on, Mark. What, Mr. Clay, what you think about Mr. Clay?
Well, I read some more stuff from Lacy Clay earlier, and he referenced that these attacks are similar to Russian trolls from 2016. And I had to laugh because him and his father have basically held down that congressional district for 5 decades. And the black people, the ADOS people in his constituency are doing no better now than they were 50 years ago. So it begs the question, what are you actually doing? Well, who are you actually advocating for that you feel that you got some type of like the party should just be loyal to you while you sit around enriching yourself and your constituents are still struggling in poverty, crime, and everything else that's going on in St. Louis. It is appalling to me to even think that these legislators feel that they should not have any type of heat brought to them, or any type of criticism, any type of just people challenging them on their plight. It is insulting. It reeks of elitism, and it's not what we should be standing for. So I hope that the Justice Democrats I think they have an ADOS challenger to him, and I hope he gets out there, because he needs to know that you just can't hold on to a seat and not do anything with it, and not fight for the people that put you there.
Absolutely. And I followed Mr. Clay because he was one of my top 10 for a while, because it took him a long time, fam, to get on the HR 40. So let's not shuck and jive like this, like he's out there fighting for the people. Clay is one of those guys that he will tweet and retweet and tweet about anything and everything, but reparations, ending mass incarceration, and closing the racial wealth gap. Don't take my word for it. You go follow Lacy Clay. I've had to do it till he finally got on board with HR 40 way on down the line. And so for him to take this high-minded attitude, but once again, this just speaks to the arrogance that these people have. Let me move on. But yeah, you also mentioned something about him, and you are absolutely right about them saying, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, he also said they're going after the wrong target. Instead of fighting Republicans and defeating Trump and holding on to our majority. Notice that, fam, our majority. He ain't talking about black people majority. He's talking about the Democratic majority. Let's not get those two confused. They find it convenient to go after their own, which is, to me, a bunch of BS. Now, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, brother, but doesn't this line of reasoning sound familiar to you? Haven't they been saying that about some other? I'm not saying we the same. I just keep hearing this about some other group. Have you heard this about another group too, Mark?
Oh yes, I would think that you would be talking about ADOS.
Yeah, it sounds familiar, don't it?
We haven't been attacking Republicans for on reparations or going after Trump on reparations because what it does is it begs the question: why would we go after the Republicans knowing that they are not supportive of reparations? We already know their stance. So us attacking them is going to do what for our movement? We should be going after the people on our side of the aisle that are supposed to be, quote unquote, fighting for us, fighting for our issues, and they're not doing that. So yes, it sounds oh too familiar, and I laugh at it because it seems like it's like talking points, like that. This is what they say to anybody that has a problem with them, and we shouldn't take it. We should not. We start standing by and idly by and let them keep spewing out this garbage and trying to fearmonger people into voting for them because the Democrats have a majority. Like if you're doing the work, like I said earlier, if you're doing the work of your constituents, it shouldn't matter who challenges you or has the primary challenger. The voters are going to vote for who they think best fits the needs of their community and who is fighting for them. So let the voters decide. Don't try to fear monger people. It's not healthy.
And I think these people are so arrogant. They can't even lie to save themselves about putting the black community first. Here it is in their own words. They're saying they're going after the wrong target. Instead of fighting Republicans and defeating Trump, they're already telling you what their priorities are. It would have been different to me if he says they're going after the wrong target. Instead of fighting the Republicans and not holding us back from advocating for the black community, instead of fighting Republicans and not having us do for reparations, instead of fighting Republicans and not holding us back as we charge ahead for black people, they're holding on. They fighting against us. That would have been different. These people can't even lie right. They're so just the contempt for the black community from the Democratic Party is just spewing forth in their own words. Bam, you can go to the article. I cut it and pasted it. I'm not making this up. Go read for yourself what their priority is. We're not putting words in their mouth. This is what they said. And this is something that also sounds faintly familiar to me. Tell me if you heard this before. He likened Justice Democrats to Russian trolls of 2016 trying to sow division in the Democratic Party. Oh my goodness, it's just the playbook. They must just have this like playbook sitting around where it says, if any group comes against you, use these talking points. What about the Russian troll or the bots, comments that these people making, Mark?
It is completely asinine. That's what it is. To liken people who want to represent their constituents in Washington D.C. and want to fight for the people. That's what the Democratic Party says they're for. Kamala Harris, that's part of her slogan, for the people. Okay, so if you're for the people, then how can you spew out that this is likening to Russian trolls? Like to me, that makes it seem like you are diluting the process, and you want people to just vote blindly without asking for anything. And you go to Washington D.C. and most of these guys been in D.C. for 10, 12, 14, 15 years, and they went there, and now they all are millionaires all of a sudden. They all have all this corporate money coming in, and you look at their backers and you see the bills that they're pushing. They're not fighting for no constituents. They're fighting for corporate donors. They're fighting for the special interest groups. And this is what people want to get out of politics. So you can't say on one side that you're against all this stuff, you want to get money out of politics, but you're turning right around to being hypocritical and taking all dollars. Like, no, you can't do that.
Crazy. Oh, but here's why I really had you on here, because you have some real good insight into the duplicitousness of these people. This quote says, Justice Democrats, went on a little bit later as they're talking about the Justice Democrats, also pointed out that they endorsed Anna Presley, an African-American woman, in her successful primary challenge last year against Democratic Rep. Mike Capano in a Massachusetts district where minorities make up the majority. Now, that's where they stopped. But my man Mark told me a little bit of a tidbit why they were supporting Ayanna Presley. The white challenger was supported by who, Mark? Who did they support? The CBC?
The CBC supported the white incumbent. That's what they put all their backing, all their money behind the white guy that was in the office and did not support Ayanna Presley at all. So how can you say that you want to maintain and this is what we stand for African Americans? Well, you have an African American woman that's running for Congress against an elitist white guy who's out of touch with his constituency in a majority minority district, and you put your backing behind him, instead of Ayanna Presley. So it begs the difference. Who you working for? Because you're not working for black folks, you're not working for minorities. If that's what you want to, people of color, if that's what you want to use as a term, you're not working for those people. You're working for special interests. And I'm glad that Ayanna Presley won because her constituents saw the writing on the wall and they voted for her.
That's amazing. Now, here's the irony. Here's how life works out and things how work out. Now she's a part of the same group. Now they have to look at this woman every day, or as much as time, knowing that y'all were against this woman, knowing that you went for the white incumbent because he was the incumbent. He's part of the status quo, but you're not going for this sister that's trying to become part of Congress. So we're gonna wrap it up, man. But I just had to share this with people to let you know that these clowns are out here, that they don't go for this bait and switch, this shuck and jive that they pushing down like, oh, we so for the people. In fact, the CBC 100% got behind HR 6 for Dreamers. We've yet to have 100% of them get behind HR 40 for reparations. So while they got this con game going on here, like, oh, we so for the people. Oh, I can't believe they coming against us. Y'all need to get yourself together first. Why don't you get your people together first? Then you don't have to worry about all these challengers and all these other people, because now you'll be doing so much for black people that you won't have to worry about that. But why don't you get your house in order first? Anyway, man, I'm going to wrap it up, man. I know you got things to do. I'm going to let you, what kind of closing words do you have for these congressional black cowards, man?
I would say this to anybody: go research these candidates, go research them, go research the incumbents, see what bills they have sponsored. Each one of them has a website. You can go on there and see what bills they sponsored, with they co-sponsor, how they voted, and you make a decision based on what you see. And I'm pretty sure, you're not going to like what you see out of our Congressional Black Caucus when you actually go look at the bills and their votes. You're not going to like what you see. So open up. We can't watch just the news on television and take that for truth, because we know people slant articles and they slam the way they want you to make it fit a narrative. Research. I need black people to research these candidates. Research the people who are representing you in Washington, D.C., and make a conscious decision to vote for your interest, not just a black face. Vote for your interest.
Absolutely, guys.
That's all I got, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you hopping on for me. And once again, as my man said, do the research for yourself. I'm not saying the Justice Democrats are all this. I'm certainly not comparing them with ADOS. Two totally different groups and two totally different mindsets, all that. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, what I really wanted to point out to you is the arrogance, is I really find myself at a loss for words to describe the level of just it's almost verging on hatred that they have for the black people, that they think they can, when they get pressed, they can just run out these little talking points and think that black people are not going to do some research. They really think this is 2008 or 2012, where people just so enamored with a black politician that we don't do the research now. It's a different day. I'm just going to tell you, it's a different day. And so you're going to need to come with something more than this. Get your house in order first. That's what you need to do. Get your house in order first. Get your people behind HR 40. And then you can expect people to come behind you. Until that, and save this stuff. All right, fam, you know what to do. Like the show. Please share so you can get this out to as many people as possible. Give me thumbs up, hearts. If you are watching this on YouTube, as I said, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, and make sure you hit the bell. All right, fam. Have a wonderful weekend. Mark, I appreciate you hopping on. I'm out of here. Love you, fam. Peace out.